Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather. Or I don't know, that thing, that magic. You see it in the movies. I wanted to retire from what I was doing, From that line of work. Be a good guy for once, a family man. So, I bought a big house, came here, put my feet up, and thought I'd be a dad like all the other dads. My kids would be like the kids on TV. We'd play ball and sit in the sun, but, well, you know how it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you cannot tell, this is a beautiful edition of the video game Guys of the Galaxy, episode 3?
I think it's episode 3. Either 3 or 4.
Episode 3. I don't think it's 4 because we started afterwards, so if everything else is 4. Anyways, it's Kyle, it's Richie. It is the Guys of the Galaxy video game edition.
That's right. So, as always, we start off with the news. So, to start off, Peps, do you know what Black Ops Cold War is?
Oh, the one that they were talking about, the new one's coming out.
Mm-hmm. There's a rumor that the next Call of Duty game will be returning to the Black Ops franchise and will be returning, I guess, to the original stuff. So yeah, if you want to delve a little bit more, Peps, you're the bigger Call of Duty guy than I.
It's not Vietnam, it's the other one, right?
It's the Cold War.
I think it's like the Korean War or something. Regardless of the fact is that, with all these advanced games running on the walls and jetpacking, no one likes that. Like, no one likes over-the-top stuff like that. And if they want that, they go find a different game for that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have been, World War II was very successful. I mean, even you played that for a bit. And
I will say, yeah, I think World War II, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think World War II was like, for both you and I, that's like the most we've played a Call of Duty game, maybe other than like the original Black Ops or Modern Warfare 2. But, World War II, I think it was like you and I were on that together every day, just going in, pretty much.
Any game that comes out, which Black Ops is a good job, like when they come out and they have like a good solid zombies, and they put on like a game like a World War II, a Black Ops 1, some other ones in there, obviously, but like they usually, I feel like they do it better. Obviously, the remasters of like Modern Warfare have been pretty good, but I think WW2 was the most we've ever played together. But we also played zombies and other things. And I thought that took a leap forward that I wish all the other games kind of fell, because like that whole thing where there was a hub that me and you got spawned in, and we were just in a hub, and you go up and there was daily challenges. So it was like kind of incentive to come in during the day, and then there was like holiday stuff. So if it was Christmas, you had like 30 days to like get all these objectives done, and like weekly objectives, and if you did, you unlock these guns, and it's like so it actually gave you that like little fire to like, well, after these 30 days I can kind of take a break, but in these 30 days I want to play it hard. Kind of like, I feel like those are the things with my mobile game that we talked about, I think last week or the week prior, the American Dad game. Like they do these little events in like a short 16-day window, so like you play hard, and then you might take like a week off or two saying like, I just went hard on that shit because there was an event, and then now it's done. I think you mentioned even on the Star Wars game, like there was an event skin that you missed out. Like there's these times like you get pissed because you like, a cold gun with like a wrap on it and like icicles, like you can't get that. I don't know if the game by next November, there's going to be a different Call of Duty game, so I'm not going to be able to get it again. So I definitely went super hard in November, December on that game when I was up with my family. Oh, that
Mhm.
game was good. So I'm excited for this new one that's coming out because when they go back to the past, they're successful. If they go
Yeah.
back to the times where they don't have heartbeat things and all this tech that makes it almost like cheating, it's like a gun and a person and some grenades. That just like you can't yell at the screen going, "Oh, he had this tech that like saw me coming around the corner. That's not fair."
Mm.
It's like, okay, well, just trip mine, guns, grenades. You can't be mad. You can just say, "Oh shit, he was better than me." That's it.
I agree. And yeah, like you and I played that. I played that. Other than when it came to like the original Black Ops, the first one, I think that is the Call of Duty game that I played the most, just because it was around. Like I was in like sixth grade, so I was like a teenager. Everybody within sixth grade had that. Like every boy in sixth grade had that game. You know what I'm saying? So it was very big. Whereas like now as an adult, it's not as big. You know what I'm saying? It's
Remember, you
Call of Duty
started
is
in,
more what
you started in the menu was like you were in a chair and you could actually break
you
free
can
from the
break out of the
chair.
chair. Yeah,
That was
but
cool.
Call of Duty is there's still a lot of adults that play, but I think there's more teenage boys that play Call of Duty than any other demographic. I would say.
Yeah, I don't have time for
Um,
it. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I'll play here and there, but like, I didn't get the new Modern Warfare one, but like, you can play the Warzone, but it's trash
So
anyway.
like, yeah, the first Black Ops I played the most because I was in that demographic of a teenager. All my friends had it, even people that weren't my friends had it. So there's always like somebody on stuff like that. But other than the first Black Ops, um, World War II was like second most played for me. You and I played the shit out of that game during like you said, from like December to about January. Like I got it for Christmas, and so I think you had it like a month before me. So because I got it for
Hmm.
Christmas, and then like yeah, from like December to like maybe March is like when I just went in. I was pretty much playing like every day with you
Oh, we
and
played
like
a shit
your
ton, dude.
friend Davis. So I'm excited for the Cold War game because it's going back to past. That's what I like. That's what you like. So I think it's going to work, and we're gonna have like another situation where you and I are just going in together, just playing that game.
We are gonna have what's I believe the kids are calling it a silly goose time.
Yeah, we're just gonna have fun with it. Um, so
Oregon.
yeah, moving on to the next piece of news. Some sad news for from definitely me and you. Saints Row 5. We've been very vocal about how much we love the Saints Row franchise. But Saints Row 5 has been pretty much confirmed to not be coming in 2021. With the coronavirus and stuff like that, someone that works for Volition that works on Saints Row said that they're working on a big game, but it was supposed to be ready for 2021, but it will not be. They only really have one big game, only one big franchise under that umbrella, which is Saints Row. So everybody pretty much has speculated that Saints Row 5 is going to be coming out in like 2022, maybe 2023, which is kind of sad. But other than that, Borderlands 3 is getting some DLC. You played Borderlands 3. I'm still on the first one. Haven't beat that final boss, which is annoying. But it's getting like a Old West kind of DLC. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit more.
So I saw that. You sent me that link. I looked at it. It's just odd because kind of like it can work in the Borderlands universe as far as in having a Wild West type of DLC. But at the end of the day, it's still space. But like the Wild West can work with certain planets and certain things just because of how it's like rift raft and kind of. You think about it's still space. I didn't watch any videos or trailers to see how they're gonna work it in because if it's just like skins and guns and stuff, like there's already like revolvers and kind of like cowboy stuff. Like you're almost thinking like Guardians of the Galaxy with that, where it's kind of like Yondu and his people. Like that's how you are. You're just Ravengers kind of by nature. So if you're gonna make it more cowboy, it's just like I'm not paying for that if it's a free and just like stuff you add into the game, then that's cool. But I'm not paying unless you shit. There's not even unless because cowboys don't even have vehicles. So how you gonna make a cowboy car? I don't need a stagecoach when I have like a warthog to drive around in.
Yeah, I agree, but obviously, piece of news still to talk about, and maybe something that you can elaborate on when it comes out. Hopefully, if it's free. or something, or it entices you enough to get it, you can play it and fill everybody in. Um, Next up, we have hopefully, from what I saw on Instagram, they will be revealing the PlayStation 5 starting lineup for their
I saw
games.
that.
So that's something we're both excited for. You and I are both Sony guys. We're PlayStation guys. That's our main consoles. It's the PS4 and soon to be PS5. So normally for me, like when I look at like the PS4 starting lineup, there wasn't really like any crazy games. It was like FIFA. There was like an NBA game. There was never really any like big game because I feel like everybody's still kind of new to working with what they have because it's a new software, new capabilities, new boundaries, stuff like that. So there's never really any crazy game. Like I don't expect GTA 6 to be announced within that starting lineup. Obviously, you know what I'm saying?
They're gonna
So
make sure it's perfect. So
yeah. So I see like maybe like the next NBA game, FIFA, maybe MLB, like a lot of sports games, some maybe like shooters, some smaller story games, but I don't see any like big. I think it's called like AAA. I think I don't see any big like AAA title being dropped like a GTA or a Star Wars game or Call of Duty something. Maybe a Call of Duty, but nothing too crazy. I don't think. But it's still exciting because it's part of the hype. Everybody's getting excited for the PS5 and the Xbox Scarlet. So it's part of the hype to find out the first games.
I would think that because it comes out this holiday season, and I don't know what that next Black Ops if they're gonna try to put that on the PS5, but I would imagine that probably for this fall they would try to give us the Warzone, especially with the virus going on.
Yeah.
That there's probably not gonna have many games that they were hoping to have ready for it. So I would think that they're trying to just get the Warzone on the PS5 right away, so they have a Call of Duty title.
They confirmed that. They confirmed that Call of Duty Warzone and Fortnite will be there day one. They'll be available to download launch.
So I think that's going to be there, and they're not going to really focus on getting a Call of Duty out for like November like they usually do. Even if they get it out in like, say like they get it out for springtime, which is not usual for Call of Duty, but then they can give themselves a year and a half to work on the next thing. So because I don't think they're going to want to wait a whole year to get a game out, but we don't know because it is going to be the first generation. You do have the virus in the way.
Yeah.
The NBA, if it's going to be on time, it'd be cool that will be one of those games that I pick up for a PS5 this fall, if I get the PS5 this fall.
Yeah.
Mostly the Cyberpunk game that has been in development for a while.
I'm so
That's going to be right there for this fall. I'll probably pick that up on a sale. I'm not going to pay for that. That probably has no online mode, so I'm not going to spend $60 on a game that's probably just a 20, 30-hour storyline.
Which,
Valhalla,
yeah, I mean, that's another, Valhalla is also
that's going to be dope.
That's another thing I've noticed. Like, when it comes to the new consoles, everything now within gaming is very heavy on online and your friends, right? So for me, the launch titles don't really matter to me because I'm not getting it at launch. I'm gonna get it, like I had said in the previous podcast, probably from like my dad's shop. He'll let me take one, and on top of that, even when you get the console, like you don't know if you're gonna have it. I'm more than sure my cousin Jack is not gonna have it. Our friend Elias is not gonna have it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at the same time,
still be playing PS4 most of the time.
Exactly. So even if I get a PS5, having those smaller games is okay with me because for the most part, I'll still be on the PS4 until we get another like Star Wars game or GTA or a Saints Row or something like that. That's going to make me go, okay, yeah, I need to, get on the PS5 and get the next one of those games or the next Call of Duty, maybe the next Madden or MLB, something like that, But yeah, for the most part, even within the first, 3 months of the new consoles being out, everybody's still on their older consoles as well,
Are we still on news or are we on any kind of speculation? I was going to tie something in, but I didn't want to jump or anything.
Well,
you kind of just said something
we have one more piece of news, but the piece of news that we have ties into the game showcase this week.
Okay. Well, the only thing I want to say is, remember I mentioned to you that a coworker brought up the fact that you kind of just said that is that most of these games are not all multiplayers. I mean, most of these games actually are geared towards multiplayer. Is actually what I was saying. That like, so what the base of this for anyone listening, watching, a coworker came to me who does or used to play a lot and said, why does it seem like they don't even care about like campaigns anymore? That they just pump out these games for multiplayers, which if you think in the last even couple of years between Fortnite, Apex, and this Warzone, all they want to do is give people what they want, and what they want is a game that's replayable. That every time you get on, you can play something
With your
over and over
friends.
again, like a thing. But and so, how hard is that to do? You build a level, you build what you can do in the game, and you put it out. And you make tweaks that just add in a couple things here and there, and you do it at your, whenever you want. Hey, let's give them an update. Let's give them skins. Let's give them a concert that's kick ass. Like, I don't even like Fortnite, but that was a cool thing that they did with Travis Scott. But if we want to give you a Black Ops game with a storyline, what do we have to do for that? We got to come up with a story. Got to come up with a storyboard. Levels that aren't just this and you play within this. We develop, good thing. We have to give you a map that you have to go and navigate through, to get to a thing. And with all probably obstacles in between, we have to do all these vocal things, voiceovers from all these people. Like, there's probably so much more work into a good storyline than someone saying, hey, we need 12 levels.
Yeah.
And, the system is the same as it's been for the last 5 years. We're just cleaning up the mechanics on stuff. The graphics, go. So I feel like it's so much easier to pump out games now that are more, because I think when we were younger, there were so many RPG games. I used to be like, oh, I hate RPGs. But now it's like, it seems like they're still there, but they're a dying breed.
Yeah.
That usually get an influx when you get the new systems, like a Cyberpunk, where someone's like, I got a good story to tell, and it'll be great on the new system.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of what
I'm
hoping.
It's still obviously hard to make games, but it's a lot probably easier to make a Fortnite where there's no levels, there's no real story. I mean, yeah, they do story stuff, but it's still small stuff. But the game, you just get in there with your friends, you just go onto the same map every time, you build with the same objects. Sometimes they'll add a new gun or a new item. That's a lot easier.
You do it later.
That's a lot
the game's
easier
already been created
than making a Call of Duty where you have to make everything look super realistic and lifelike. You have to add all the guns, all the characters in. You have to add all the different levels in the maps and all the voiceover, like you said, for sure. But moving on to the last piece of news, which segues into the game showcase, Grand Theft Auto 5 has officially sold 130 million units. That's some pretty
Wow.
big stuff from my opinion within gaming.
Doesn't hurt when you have to buy the game twice, though.
Yes.
I have, you have. I think Davis bought 3 times because he bought it on PS3, Xbox 3, Xbox One, and then again on PlayStation 4. So I know he bought 3 times.
I definitely bought it too, and I've had it even more than 2 times because I've had it for the 360 and the Xbox One. But I think
and PC,
that's another,
right?
Yeah, and PC because I just got the free one, which we said, but I'll throw it back in there. Anybody that that's a PC gamer, Epic Games is giving away Grand Theft Auto 5 for free up until a certain date. It could be over by now, but if not, go on Epic Games' website and check it out. You might be able to grab GTA 5 on the PC for free, and it'll be in your account forever, pretty much. They're never. It's not like hey, you got it for free for a month and then you have to pay for it. It's if you download it and you put it in your library, it's there forever. But yeah, GTA selling 130 million copies. That's some pretty crazy stuff.
Insane.
It's insane to me that literally every day someone is going like into a GameStop and purchasing GTA. You know what I'm saying? And I would love to even ask, might be able to find it on Reddit or something, but I would love to ask like a GameStop employee, like how many copies of Grand Theft Auto 5 do you sell a day? How many times do you see somebody come up with a GTA 5 case?
Well, what we could do is if that's the number, divide it by days since the game was released. And roughly that's your answer.
Well, I'm horrible at math, so
135 million, and then it's whatever the date it was that was released. I'm not saying do the math right now.
17th, 2013, pretty sure.
Yeah, so you just do the math from then. I'm not saying do it now. You don't believe me.
But yeah, that's just something I would love to know is how many copies somebody sees come up to the shelf to be purchased every day, or even like at a Walmart or a Target, but GameStop probably more frequently. But yeah, moving forward, I said it ties into the game showcase. So perhaps if you want to intro this week's game showcase, go right ahead.
All right, and this is the same game, right? I believe.
Yeah.
All right, so every week we do a game showcase, and this one we just kind of discussed it. It's Grand Theft Auto. As you can
also tell by my background.
Grand Theft Auto 5. Wow. I mean, this game not only did, like Kyle said, sold so many units, captured our attention on 2 different systems. Nothing's ever done that before.
Mhm.
Because believe me, WWE 15 did not do that. It made me hate both versions of it. But this game, I mean, he's still trying to make me play today. Like,
Yeah.
I don't enjoy playing a game that's 6, 7 years old, and I swear like no one else is playing. But like, probably the hardest thing for me, and this is just a later knock now, is how much things cost in that game.
Mhm.
Like we can do at first it was hard, but like you can do heists and get better money, but like it's so hard. But like you do any of those jobs and it's like the best ones were like 20K, but like an old school car that was kind of like nothing you could do with it was like 750,000.
Mhm.
I'm like why?
It's
Like
like
why is that?
$3,000 in real life.
Yeah, but I'm just like, why is all these cars so expensive? Why is everything so expensive? Because any job I do, like if I have to do the same job, which is now getting into Destiny, thing, I have to do this job like 5 times to make 100K,
Yeah.
and that's probably almost an hour and a half of my life. And I'm gonna do it over and over again because it's the best paying job, but it's boring that I have to keep doing it over and over again.
And that's if you
If
succeed
you
each time.
succeed, yeah. So if you succeed, but you could do other ones so you get your sanity, but you're just
Yeah.
gonna keep doing the same job, and it's like, can you at a certain point just make it like jobs just, heists can be like, especially after like 4 or 5 years, could you make the heist like 400,000 and like some of these jobs like 100K, or just bring the job like the prices of the cars down? Why can't
Yeah.
that car be more realistic? Like that antique one could have been 125K.
Mm.
At 20K, I'll be able to afford it after doing it like 5, 6 times.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, yeah. When it comes to GTA Online, like, I've been there since day one. Obviously, I have you been like, were you there like the first day it was up?
Online?
Mhm.
I don't know if I can say yes, but probably not no either.
It was like October 1st, I think, of 2013.
Shit, if I know.
Okay. Well, I remember being there day one. Day one was super bad, super buggy because everybody was going on and trying to play and do all these missions, and the servers weren't ready for it. So the servers like were still up, but it was just acting all funky and crashing because it's too many people. But like GTA Online, I've always had fun with, and I will say there's a lot of updates. I've played every update. There were a lot of updates, especially for a while, back to back to back, that were kind of repetitive. They were kind of the same. It was like buy a business to start to make money. Then it
Mhm.
was buy a biker club to make money, and then it was like buy like something else to make money. And
Bunker.
it's like buy a bunker to make money, and then like buy the facility to do the heist, like that, and that was kind of different. But
My
for
my
a
main
while, it was
thing
the same.
is, did really any of the facilities ever really probably you get a real return on? Like if you
No,
spent four
because I
million
have
dollars on something, did you ever really get a return on it? Because it
no,
never felt like you did.
because every like my character, I have everything within the game. Pretty not everything, but every big thing. I have the business, and I have the yacht, and I have the biker club, and the bunker, and the facility, and the video game arcade, and like all that stuff. I have everything,
Mhm.
um, and I've never seen like that money come back. You spend like $8 million designing and purchasing and adding stuff to like the bunker, and I maybe made like 500 grand. You
Yeah.
know, because at the same time, you get bored because you've already done, although they're technically different missions, you've still done the same missions from the other updates. So
Mhm.
you're not even involved enough to play that much to make the money back. Some people, sure, I'm more sure there's people that play GTA every day and they never get tired of it and they'll play the same mission and they've made so much money off of all this stuff. But for me, and like for you, for my cousin, like the people that we relatively have played with, it's kind of all the same. Of like, we're just kind of tired of playing because we're doing the same thing in a different skin, almost.
I mean, how many times did I play? And I know I played with Aramis and Davis, and whether you were in the game mode with us, which I know Davis sometimes, we'd be playing, and it'd be times like this, and we're just like, "Yo, bro, when we get back to that base, I'm passing out and getting off."
Yeah.
There's plenty of times I'm driving, and I just hear,
Mm.
and Davis is passed out, snoring into his mic because like there's times you have to drive up the whole like West
Yeah.
Coast, and it's like before you had that one flying car, we're just like, like I understand they don't make the missions easy,
Yeah.
but like people like, oh, the maps are so big, but it's like, and that's great, but it's like sometimes it kind of sucks.
It does
Like,
take a while to get from like point A to point B sometimes, because sometimes point A will be in Blaine County and you've got to go to the airport in Los Santos,
but
and
like
you're like, this is like a 20 minute like just drive almost,
those missions, like they really, if they're gonna make you do that, pay me like 200K for doing all that. Like,
Yeah, it
if a
is.
mission's gonna take that long and go all over the place, it's one thing if the people keep getting away from me and I suck at chasing down people on the road. But if it's like, hey, so your bunker's up there, but you're gonna have to go all the way to the airport or the power plant that's all the way in the other corner. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, just to drive there, like you can't just assume I have a flying car that I can get there real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna cheat and drop in like a spy plane that I can just go up, okay, flying over there. Like, so why? And you're gonna pay me like 12,500. Like,
Yeah.
really?
I agree. And well, let's. I feel like we've had a very so far negative talk within GTA. So
Well,
let's bring in some
because
positives.
this is where we're at today. I mean, generally, when I first played, I jumped into that story mode, and I thought it was so cool that you could switch between characters. I thought the graphics at the time, coming from I guess 4, which 4 was a big improvement on not Vice City, Los Santos, San Andreas. So pretty much going from the last one to this one, I was like, wow, I see it grow. It's cooler having a customization back in the game for because the one in Liberty City really didn't have
Too much,
anything.
yeah.
Even though and the fact that you only had like a parking spot, but like you're in New York, it makes sense. I really liked soundtracks, obviously from the previous one, but this one was a pretty good soundtrack. I feel like it hit all the notes. Was it when I think it's when we got the 4th game, it added more songs to the list, which I thought some of those killed it and were pretty good additions. I think the coolest thing about this game, because in the past I always liked the brands of the cars and stuff, how there would be always ones that you're like, oh, that's a Corvette, that's an Escalade. But this was the first time that it always seemed like they just kept adding cars, and you're like, people are like, oh, I didn't ask for this. It's like, I did. This is cool. This is like, I can't even think of what this is anymore because they just again like creative juices going like, oh, like we'll throw this one and then that one and make one of these, and it's like they were literally adding models to fake brands, like
which was fun until they started adding like the flying like bike with like a RPG on it and stuff, to the point where like that stuff, when you go into like a public session, you can't even play because someone is just being a dick and they're just flying around blowing everybody up. That stuff is not fun, and I think it's been a minute since I've like really played and like paid attention, but I think they've limited that, and I think they have maybe like some sort of sessions where it's more like passive and more, and then they have some where it's like kind of like a war zone.
You're being negative again.
Yeah.
But no, when I always joined online, I went into a private session because it was cool to think that, hey, I can go in a room with other people. All they want to do is act like it's the Purge and just turn and kill the next person next to them. And it's like, dude, that I get it, but like this isn't, Oh, I was gonna say I have actually a really fond memory of us doing almost 2 things. We would do things like we did this in St. Rose, where we would actually have a parking garage, and we would tell, it was like a couple of us, actually it's probably 4 or 5 of us, tell us, go find the ugliest car you can find, then turn it into an uglier car at the place where you can soup it up, the paint, whatever it's called in that game, not rim jobs, but so you pretty much would be like, and meet at the thing, and we're doing the destruction derby. And so people would roll in with like the ugliest paint and rims and like attachments on their car, and we would just have a destruction derby. Last person standing won. And I was like, it was one of those things where like, we're sick of doing missions. What can we do real cheap? Like, let's just make ugly cars, like steal a police car and black it out, and which I think was kind of cheating because it was actually strong.
Which is cool because they the fan base has like found a way to kind of evolve GTA in its own. Like you have the missions and stuff, but now you have people that do car meetups, and everybody brings like their coolest car to a parking lot, and they're doing a car meetup,
Mhm.
or you have people doing like what you said, a derby, where everybody's just destroying a car. They have servers on the PC, like modded servers, where people are doing role playing stuff to where you create your character and you can become a judge for Fame or Shame, or you can be an ambulance or a cop, or you can be a contestant on Fame or Shame. Like people have taken GTA and they've like given it like a life within itself, you know?
Yeah, I kind of wish I could have turned into like a TV show where we could have done things and then just voiced it over, you know?
Um, but we've been talking about GTA Online. Let's talk about GTA 5, the story and
The
everything within
story
the
is
story.
great. I didn't finish it because when I went from the 3 to the 4,
Well,
which
you've never finished it.
I told you this before. When I played the 3, I got very far, and then the 4 came out, and when I did it, they wanted me to start the whole story mode all over again.
Mm.
And so I was like, fuck that. So now I was like, am I going to go back on my PS3 to play the same game with worse graphics to finish the story mode? I was like, fuck
I
it.
may have
Focus
said
online.
this. I may have said this before, but I highly suggest now that there's probably been a very large gap in time. I highly suggest you go on to the PS4 and play it through and finish it.
I already know most of it. I don't want to. That's so much work.
God.
I won't do it. I already know like all the shit. Like I'm not gonna go and go steal a submarine, and I'm not gonna go up to like Trevor's and do a bunch of redneck missions and I know all this stuff. Like it's been years since I played it, and I already know the freaking storyline. I don't want to do it.
Okay.
I don't want to play through. I don't. I don't enjoy doing like I love the Batman Arkham games, but I don't want to replay something I put like so much effort into. I don't think of how many hours you have to do to just play that. I already dedicated those hours. I'm not. The world is not gonna give me those back.
Okay. So within the story, I think they did a very good job with the story. I think the immersiveness within what they did and like just even the small things of like switching to Trevor and Trevor's like passed out on a mountain, you know, or switching to Michael and Michael is like having chest pains because he just had a fight with Amanda, you know, or then you switch to Franklin and Franklin's like chilling with Chop. Like I love that stuff, you know.
Yeah, you
Like
literally there's plenty of times on Michael when I switch over and he's by his pool just like, and then he like stands up. He's like you know, like it was things where you're just like
so
sometimes you
smooth.
just laugh because you're just like, oh, like you said, like Trevor being like fucking laying in the desert like in his underwear, and you're like, what did I miss?
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
And the slight inconvenience of like now I have to get off of this mountain and have to find a way off this mountain and then drive all the way over to the strip club to do the next
Yeah.
mission.
You're like,
I was like, oh,
shit.
come on.
And of course, he was always up in like the middle of nowhere, so you're like,
Mhm.
there'd be a mission around here.
Yeah, but I just love the fact that it was so immersive and they did such a good job making sure that everything within that game worked and it was smooth, you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're building a game and you're doing something like that, that's not something you can just throw out there. Now, if they did like, you know, just an online version, that's a lot easier. Just gotta make that city, make a bunch of missions, and just keep adding them over time, and just
Yeah.
have it support that. Where if you're building that storyline, that's a story you have to come up with first, then the
Yeah.
actors, and then make sure all that shit works. Especially
Yep.
where like some of those like queued things versus that doesn't happen in those multiplayer things. Different ways to attack a mission, different ways to go through it.
Speaking of the city, though, I think that this map is probably the best looking video game map I've ever had in my life so
To
far.
date, yeah.
Yeah, like just again, I think I told you this, and I don't think this was like a podcast discussion, but I think this is like a conversation you and I had. When GTA 5 was coming out, I was so hyped for it that like everything, every piece of news that came out, I was there. You know, like I knew everything about this game that was going to happen. Not like story, but everything they were adding, all the features, how the people like to me, how it was like in GTA 4 there were pedestrians, but there was no point in pedestrians. They were just there, obviously, right? But then in GTA 5 they came out and said like, oh, in GTA 5, like the guy that you see like mowing his lawn, you'll then see a couple hours later in the game like picking up trash as a trash man, you know?
Mhm.
And so it's like all these NPCs are not just spawning in to like be there. Like they kind of have like a life of their own. You know what I'm saying? You'll watch somebody go and get in their car and like drive down the street and then get out and walk into a store, you know. But as it was coming out, I was so hyped, and there was a channel called GTA 5 O'clock that every Wednesday they would do a podcast about what they knew, what was new within GTA. This is before the game came out. They were counting it down, and like every week, every piece of news, screenshot, trailer, rumor, leak, anything, they would break it down on this podcast. And I got so excited every week to just listen to this like 30-minute podcast every week to know what was coming, what was, you know, what more. I wanted more information about all the characters, and so they'd be like, "Oh, this is more information we found out about who this Trevor character is," you know, and that added to the hype. To then when I got the game, I was just like, "This game is incredible. This game is exactly what I wanted. Everything I heard them talk about is in this game, and I'm so happy I got to be a part of that," you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the hype at the same time, as great as this game is, I think the hype leading up to the next GTA game every time is almost as fun as the actual game itself, you know.
Of course, everyone gets into it now.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, looking towards the future, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen with GTA 6 and when they announce it, and like, hopefully we get to be that podcast this time where we're the ones that's breaking down screenshots or trailers, you know. Even if it's like a bonus episode, not within this, but like its own thing, you know. Hopefully, we could be that, and you and I just getting hyped together for the game.
I would say, like I've told you, that when certain things happen, that I think the format of the show just changes with it. It doesn't need to be. If GTA 6 releases stuff, I don't want to talk about a video game memory at that point. I want us to just cover the fact that this has happened. It can be called whatever you want, but that will be the weekly thing, because I think what we should do is play the damn clip, if there's a clip, and then maybe have it over our videos and just audio, and then come back into our video, which is very easy, cutting and editing. But I think like things like that, stuff that obviously I've told you, it's added production stuff, which we don't have editors and stuff, but stuff would be interesting to do, because I think when something big like that happens, they don't need to see our face. The video could just loop, and we could talk over and talk. Like if I see your picture there, we could talk about pointing this and pointing that out. And I mean, with video games in the next console, that's going to be something we're probably going to do a whole lot, because I think when Cyberpunk comes out some more, that could have been something we diagnosed a little bit more.
I mean, you and I both, I think, are heavy into the hype for that game as well, and we're excited for that game, and are going to grab it when it comes out and play it, you know. And I don't know if there's an online. I don't think there is, but if there is, you and I will be playing that shit, you know.
Depends on what kind of online it's going to be like.
Oh yeah, but if it's like a GTA Online-esque situation, then yeah.
Perhaps. If it's like a Division, then I'm going to be very upset.
I don't think it will. I mean, it's an open world game in itself, so if there was some sort of online thing, it'll probably be more towards like a continue your character story in a sense, but with your friends.
Yeah, maybe the online's going to be like Agents of Mayhem.
Maybe. But yeah, I think we have a lot more that we can talk about GTA 5, but for the sake of the time within this episode, I think we should close out the game showcase.
Okay.
And move on to what we're playing. So, Peps, what are you playing? What's new that you're playing?
I'm playing a couple different games. I've hit every one that I am. I don't know. Did I talk about Animal Crossing?
No, because you said you don't have a Switch.
No, but I have it for my DS.
Oh, I don't think you did.
Okay, so that's the only other game I'm playing right now that I have not discussed. And to keep it short, because I know we can go long at times, it's just Animal Crossing. Everyone in the world's losing their mind with the Switch version, which is, I believe, New Horizons. The version I have is New Leaf, which actually I bought because I liked it, and I never started it. So during quarantine, I picked up and said, you know, no one's on NBA right now, and no one's online. Well, and I give this a go, you know. So I played it, and I thought it was cool at first. They just instantly announce you as the mayor, which is different of this town, and it was kind of more fun being an adult and being able to like, oh, let me like look up things and how to do this better, and utilize the island a little bit better to make more money and learn how to play. And it's cool, like you can actually, as mayor, you can do city ordinances, you can do public works thing, which I think in the past someone told me they built an additional bridge back on the GameCube one. I never knew how they did that. But on here, like, you can tell them, hey, you have one bridge that crosses here, like, obviously. but you can build 2 more. So I was like, all right, let's build one here and let's build one later there. So I did like the stone bridge here and the suspended one here, which I really wanted. If you remember, usually there's like a beach and there's the waterfall that comes down on every like land. And I wanted to do like a bridge that went from one sand to the other one. That way I wouldn't have to go up a cliff and go down the different cliff there. It apparently wouldn't let me because I thought that's the perfect place for my suspended wooded bridge. And since it wouldn't let me do that, I just put at the very end of the waterfall on the top. So if I just have to go up. So that's actually what I just did last time. It's kind of cool when you do like it was 125 bells. You give money. Eventually, other people will help you with the money, but you have to majority come up with it.
Yeah.
Just like everything else, you have to kind of put money in to get your house nice. But I heard the one that's on your phone, the pocket one, is like you just constantly craft for people. So I heard about that the other day, and I was like, I would never play that.
Yeah.
I remember downloading that version. I hated it. Now I remember why. But so Animal Crossing New Leaf has been a fun game. If people are poor like me and can't afford a Switch, get that version.
Okay. That's all?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
sure.
I am currently playing. Last week I discussed playing the first Borderlands. My Borderlands adventure has paused because I'm pretty sure the last boss within that game is ridiculously hard. And I kind of Richie Pepperfield the situation, and I got mad and said, "Nope, I'm not doing it. I'm done." And I shut it off.
Way to do it. Good way.
But what I am currently playing is Fallout 76. That
he hates that game though.
No, I actually.
You told me that game.
Let me explain.
Sucks.
Let me explain.
Liar.
I got the game
lies.
when it came out in 2018. Myself and my cousin both got the game, and the game was not great. The game was not that good. However, I was wanting to try and give it a second chance for a while, but the game is online. It's very centered on doing stuff with a team. So like I didn't want to go online unless I had a team, and the only person I knew that played it or had it was my cousin. So every time I brought it up to him, he was like, "No, I'm not playing that game. The game sucks." But at some point within the past week, he had told me, he hit me up and said, "Hey, I reinstalled it," and I was like, "Okay." They did a lot of massive updates, and the game is actually very fun now. So
I know that they came out with that DLC like Wasteland or Wastelanders, and they seem like there was a lot of marketing and hype for this, even though the game is now 2 years old. Yeah. So it must have been something that definitely helped the game, or that the fact that they,
they revamped the game. They went in, they fixed a lot of the negative stuff. There's still some negative stuff. The game is still not great. Like, it's still not an amazing game, but they definitely took a step from where it was, and it's definitely a game that I'll, for the time being, will constantly play. The Wastelanders DLC, I have been playing it the whole, and for anybody that is wanting to play it but hasn't played it yet, here's a spoiler alert. But the main purpose of it is you find a vault that has like a ridiculous amount of gold in it, but you need like some heavy stuff to get into it. So like you do. Originally, the overseer of your vault tells you, like, there's a crashed rocket ship that has, like, a settlement of raiders in it that you need to go befriend. And then there's another settle whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. There's another, like, town towards the bottom of the map. Like, that rocket's towards the top. The other town's, like, kind of towards the bottom. And so there's 2 different towns you need to befriend. And then you find out about the vault, and you go and basically – the one town, like the friendly town, they're both kind of friendly, but like the friendlier town is basically like, we can do it. We just need a really big power drill, and we need some other stuff. And then the rocket thing is like, you need to do this stuff. So there's like different requirements they have to do to then try and break into the vault. But currently, I'm kind of in a stuck spot, almost in a Richie Pepperfield fuck this I'm done spot, because one of them I got for the one town. For the one town, I got the drill and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, you have to go get this thing from this robot. Like, you have to get this like chip from this robot." And I get there, and there's like 50 robots. I have like 10 bullets, and the one robot I have to kill is like level 50, and I'm like a level 20, and so I'm like, well, I as soon as I spawn in, I'm pretty much dead. If maybe I last 3 minutes, I'm still dead, because even the 10 bullets I have, which is pretty much all I have, is doing like nothing to this thing. So I was like, okay, maybe I can go to the Raiders and like do that path because I think it's two different paths that you can take. So I was like, screw it, I'll go take this path. And now I'm in the same spot, but with the Raiders in a different situation. I'm in a different place, but I have to kill this robot that's like a legendary 3-star robot that basically has like this giant machine gun on his head. And again, I have like 10 bullets. So that's where I'm at on both sides. So now I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't have enough caps to like buy anything crazy. Kind of stuck here. So yeah, I might be having a Richie Pepperfield moment as we speak on the podcast here.
Well,
I'm tired of this.
So this Richie Pepperfield moment is I don't know if we defined it. It's a thing.
Oh, it's a rage quit. That's really what it is. It's when you can't get past something, a level or a boss or something, so you get to the point where you're like, I'm done. Or like in your case, like a GTA, something doesn't load right, or there's something corrupted, or you have to do it again, stuff like that. Pretty much a rage quit is a Pepperfield moment, and basically it's where you say, screw this, I'm no longer playing this game, and you either don't ever play the game again, or you wait a certain amount of time. Sometimes it's maybe a week, couple days, 6 months, could be like 3 years for all we know.
At least 2 weeks.
Yeah. To where then you'll go back in, and normally the problem is a simple fix, and you'll end up passing the level pretty easily, or you'll still be stuck, and you're like, I guess I'll just never get past this.
Generally, it's like, say, an Assassin's Creed or Crash Bandicoot comes to mind, and you play a level and you get to a certain point, and when you die, it makes you go all the way back to the beginning, and you're like, are you serious? Like,
Yeah.
all that work, like, especially stealth bullshit that you have to do in, like, Assassin's Creed, and brings you all the way to the back, and it's like you didn't get to a checkpoint. I'm just like, no, I did all that work. Like, some Batman games are annoying because you can beat, like all those times you'd be in a room and you, like, go into the crate, pop up, kill someone, go down, go back up top, string someone down, come up, and then it's like, you get to, like, the last guard, and they shoot you, and you're like, ugh. And then, like, Batman, like, Joker's like, well, Bats, I thought you would do better or something. And, like, and then you're just like, now I have to do that all over again. And I'm like, you know what? I like this game. I'm going to stop here because it's saved. I'm going to put it down. And in, like, a couple of weeks, I'm going to be like, oh, my God, why did I stop playing Batman? Oh, yeah, that fucking at level that I played 3 times. And the thing is, my thing is, like, I don't play missions like a whole story all over again because this stuff that even when I play stories, I quit because I'm like, I will not get those moments of my life back. I don't want to replay it over and over again, knowing that I'd rather move on to the next game. I know I have a stack of PS3 games I need to go and beat the story. I'd rather go play those.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm playing like 5 games right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm starting to get to that point as well.
Yeah, so instead of playing like the story mode on Saints Row and GTA over again, like, I'd rather just go, okay, I have a Men in Black video game on PS3. I only played 2 chapters. I want to go beat that game. Assassin's Creed Rogue on PS3. I'm halfway through. I want to finish that game. You know, all the Lego games I've never finished. I think I'm on like year 2 of the Hogwarts one. So no, almost on year 2.
Well, that's where I'm at with Borderlands, and that's where I'm about to be with Fallout 76. For the few people that do listen or watch this, if you have any idea on how like a level 25 with like no ammo can kill one of those giant robots, please let me know.
I know the answer.
Appreciate it. Yeah, sure you do. But I think that closes out the what we're playing chapter here. So perhaps if you want to bring it to the last chapter. Okay. I'm saying chapters. I mean segments. You got me talking about chapters now.
What we're playing, and then there's not giving you the answer to beating him. Anywho, so what is the next one? Because remember, I don't have my
memory.
Oh. Okay. See, this is a lot harder that I don't have a functional. Like, I just got a phone the other day, so anyone again, anyone putting up with us. No, it's still downloading a bunch of the new apps. And right now, like, even when I use it today, it was like one of those things where you click on it, says, are you trying to reinstall this app? I'm like, I thought you already did that for me. So yeah, I need to reinstall that. So memories of a video game. Ooh, it's not a good one, but it's one that comes to my head. Okay. Have you ever played, and this is a PS1 game, Army Men 3DO.
Maybe I don't. No, I don't think I have.
Did you
actually.
freeze? Oh.
You froze.
Um. Ooh, I thought of another one, but we'll just go with this one. I'll write down the other one for next week.
That's fine.
So this was we talked about Blasto, and then we talked about memory. So I'm thinking about things that are like nostalgic and put me in place. For people who played Army Men 3DO, there was definitely a couple versions of them. This was definitely one of the games that I don't know if they were cheaper or if my parents, obviously knowing me, I definitely like Army Men. They picked up. I remember the game case vividly. It was like one guy with like a flamethrower melting the other color, like it was a green army guy and then like a light brown one, and he like was melting the other one and his legs were like melted, and it was literally like Call of Duty, but they were like army men. So like it almost was that kind of like, it wasn't Toy Story based, but like thinking of Toy Story with the army guys, like it almost had that, like it wasn't even comedic, but it was like comedic that you're like literally an army guy and you're playing this army game, like you shoot the other people. And like, think of it now, like, I don't know why I didn't beat the game besides being a kid, because it can't be that hard. I mean, I probably would kill it now. Who knows? But there was sequels, and I remember just always wanting the game. Like, I think, like, my friends were always like, let's play that game. And I was like, oh, you want to play it? Because I think it either was co-op or you could be, like, multiplayer against each other, and you had, like, reinforcements and stuff. So it's one of my first few games. Like, the coolest thing is remembering some of the first games you played. Like, I had Blasto, which we talked about like previously, and then this, I think, were my first two games I ever had. And I still remember a third game, but I don't know the name of it. But I just remember it was like and this is just real quick, a little spaceship I was in, and I don't think I ever got past the first level. I don't know what the objective was. I remember flying around and getting yelled at, and I was still 9 or 10. Like, I should have been able to complete whatever the mission was. But yeah, Army Men takes the cake. I think maybe next week I'll probably do a little research and figure out how many games there were, how they scored. But that's just because that wasn't like a game showcase or anything that's cool. I just a memory.
Okay. Well, my memory is really short, really sweet. But it is a GTA Online memory of you and I. And I don't even think you know this memory because you weren't fully conscious for said memory.
Am I ever?
We did a mission. And yeah, this is really short. We did a mission. It was like pretty late at night. We did a mission. We finished it. You and I were flying, and we weren't saying like we're off. We were flying. We were determined to do more missions. And yeah, we're flying over the country, and Peps is flying, and all of a sudden the plane just starts going down. And I'm like, what, Peps, why is the plane going down? And I have just no answer. Just no answer. Peps, where you at, man? What's going on? And this is me thinking like, oh, Peps is dumb, and he just ran to the bathroom or to the kitchen or something. Nope, this man fell asleep while he was flying the plane and killed myself and him at like 4 a.m. with no warning.
Just went into the water?
Yep, it just no, I think it crashed into the ground and it just blew up and we just died.
Oh.
And I was like, well, I guess that's the cue for getting off because Peps is snoozing away over there.
There were so many times where we would start missions, and I knew I should have just been like, dude, I need to get off. I'm tired. And we would just play another one, and I'd be like this the whole time. Like, I mean, just the other night, I got into bed, and I was literally trying to play the 2 rep in the cages. And I think I was playing the American Dad on my phone because you do like these little tournaments that you have to do 5 battles, and there's time things. So it generally takes almost 12, 15 minutes to play. And I was like my eyes are right now. I was like, there's no way I'm playing a game right now. Like I'm perfectly fine. Like, I'm just tired. Like, not like I feel like I'm like, yeah, dude, like, but I can't, my eyes got so heavy. And I think, like I said earlier, when you're going across the map and you're just like, let me know when we get there. There was plenty of times I think I put my head down. I was like, let me know when we're at the thing.
Yep.
And I was like, if I fall asleep, I fall asleep. And that's just the easiest way to get offline.
Yeah.
Either you or Davis did the same shit to me, but you guys were awake. I was looking at my phone or some shit. I looked up, and that plane was going straight into the water.
Oh, that's
and
great.
you guys buried me so far under the water, I died from not being able to breathe. Game character wise, like I remember
great.
ejecting from the plane, and it was like, nope, you
That's
ran out of the
hilarious.
air. I was like, and you guys were like, oh, you didn't jump out? No, I didn't know I was supposed to jump out of the plane.
We had a lot of good times on GTA Online for sure.
No,
A
plenty.
lot of missions done. A lot of arguments over what to do next or where to go. Who is going to get what role and what heist. It's definitely a good time though, for sure.
Yeah. If we allowed Davis to play or not.
Yeah. But with that said, it is time to close out the video game talk for this week. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you as always for watching or listening and supporting the podcast.
Mainly putting up with us for a good long time.
Yeah, putting up with us for like an hour while we talk about video games and things that we think are funny that you probably didn't laugh at all. But with that said, I am Kyle Schneider.
I'm Richie Pepperfield.
We are the guys of the galaxy, and we will see you next week.